All right, welcome back. We've got round 2 ready with afterMath versus Orbital Candy Laser, which has to be the best team name here.
Already winning the hearts and minds of Twitch chat.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into the game here. This is Theory. I guess we can introduce the teams once we get into the game, because we're going to do that pretty much immediately. In the bottom left, from Team afterMath, we have Theory and Albino.
And in the top right, we have Cosmic and Sweet Shot Games, the Orbital Candy Laser, as we see both teams going into immediate expansions.
Yep, very little one-base play so far from these teams overall, which I think is overall for the better. I haven't, ever since the second round of Guardian Shield nerfs, we're really not seeing it being run in doubles at this point, so it's...
You still see individual shields, and I think that's still decent. When the shield first came out, you were seeing a lot of double Guardian Shield into Quick Tech or Quick Expand, but you don't see that nearly as much anymore because it is substantially weaker than it was.
Tech options are coming out for afterMath here. We've got Shockers and Heavy Hunters, one of the other big core of units that's really quite popular, especially in ones, and we have Heavy Hunters and Mortars as well. Meanwhile, our autumn-colored team here is going into the Advanced Recalls and the Destroyers.
Yeah, the Orbital Candy Laser. Big shout out to Cosmic 0508 and Sweet Shot Games, both streaming their perspectives of this tournament, and both came in super clutch as last-minute replacements for another team that we had, so we really appreciate them helping to flesh this out, make it a full 8-team bracket. And, I'm genuinely excited to see what they can do, as they've both been putting a lot of time into the 1v1 ladder. And yes, 2v2 is a different experience, but a lot of the skill is transferable.
Yeah, I mean, Sweet Shot Games has been streaming, I think, more than any single other human for this entire tournament. Look at this position here from Theory, by the way. Just cutting off the third from the main here. By just positioning Blinks in this hallway is incredible, and that's what not having recalls can really cause problems for. Look at this. Just gaining incremental value.
Coming in for a push onto the third. Actually, a very quick fourth coming out from Albino, so expanding while you attacking, classic RTS strategy coming in from the blue and green team as they're going to try to blitz down this third base.
Yeah, they're pushing it down. Recalls are going to come in, and they are going to find some damage, but it's going to be less damage than that base is worth. Mortars are now out for Albino as they push in here. Good, strong advantage so far for Theory and Albino. Gaining a little bit of a bandwidth lead here and a bit of a tech lead. There is a Tier 3 attempt to come out here from Sweet Shot Games and Cosmic. Sweet Shot Games is going to get the Peanuts and the Snipers, so they will sacrifice their third base to try and get that advanced tech out. And we have Recalls pushing, recalling.
Yeah, we got what looks like about 8 or 9 Snipers and 4 Behemoths coming in to tank for them, as they're going to try and push out and retake some of their own expansion, since now they have the superior tech, and in particular, very, very long range with the Snipers, as nothing that is currently out for Theory and Albino can match them on the ground. And only air options, which are just coming in about 30 seconds for Albino, is going to let them even up this fight. But as they do that, the Blinks are going to come in and take out the natural. Only the main expansions are available for Orbital Candy Laser. They are twice as good as any individual base, but a big blink forward coming out from Theory is going to take out some advanced destroyers and just incredible control, allowing them to expand and tech and attack at the same time.
That is incredible. Watching these pair of Blinks just rip apart their opponents back and forth between the main and the third, and then into the natural, and back and forth. It's going to have to prompt an all-in from our autumn team here, and I just don't know if it's going to be enough. They've got to push now, though.
Yeah, the Behemoth numbers are about even, but a little bit more HP on the side of Theory and Albino. However, there's a lot of Blinks here that are going to look to try to get on top of these advanced destroyers and snipers. They sacrifice the 12 o'clock base as the butterflies are going to come in and wreak havoc on the remaining Behemoths.
One Valkyrie is putting in the good work, taking down now 4 of them. There's no counterfire, so now there's only 1 half-health Butterfly left. But the trade doesn't have to be efficient for the team that's on 4 bases compared to 1. That's 2.5 times the income at this point of their opponents. The snipers are being jumped on top of, and this is looking grim.
Orbital Candy Laser was able to take a good fight, but like you said, being up approximately 8 bases on your opponent is a pretty good spot to be in.
Game 1 is going to go to aftermath with Theory and Albino.
And, you know, given the way that match played out, I don't think it was a technology issue or a deck issue for Orbital Candy Laser. I think that just the double blink play was able to do so much running around that even when Orbital Candy Laser got a tech advantage, they just weren't able to quite capitalize on it because Theory and game mode is currently set to 1v1.
Oh, it is. Sure enough.
Yeah. Theory and Albino were just all over the map.
Check. Do I have enough? I have you, and do I have anybody from? I need. Oh, I got a Steam friend request for the next round. Good, very good, very important.
Ace, as we're getting into this game number 2, did you hear anything or know anything about Theory and Albino's 2v2 play? Obviously, Theory, a very known 1v1 player. But do you know if they have any practice in the 2v2 game mode?
I believe they're the top team in the Beta 2. So, yeah, very practiced.
As of the last time I refreshed, it is Nugify and Knight.
It's Beta
still
2.
Nugify and Knight.
Not Beta 3.
Oh, in Beta 2. You're right, Beta 2. That's what.
All right, jumping into game number 2 here between aftermath and Orbital Candy Laser. We do have expansions for both teams. I'm curious if we will see any one-base play from any of the individual players. Not necessarily a full all-in from both players, but just like this tech pressure into expand.
Yeah, in the 1v1, it's not terribly uncommon if one player goes early expand to just go like Wasp all in, which it's a lot harder to manage in the 2v2 setting, but I wonder if maybe like Cosmic and Sweet Shot don't assess that, you know, their opponents have gone immediate expand every time. Maybe we can try to capitalize with an early aggressive play.
Yep, we see once again just these blinks constantly poking in, being a nuisance to everybody. You can just see how practiced Theory is with this, and this is a lot of the play that some of the very 9K, 10K plus players did in Beta 2 that just became so powerful, as you could just out-control and out-value your opponents extremely slightly 10 or 20 times, and all of a sudden you have a huge advantage.
Yeah, we see both teams going into very early tech, not expanding first for either team. Thirds are coming down from Theory and Albino. We have the third coming down now for Sweet Shot. Cosmic maybe looking to go for a big push off of their tech instead of going for a third expansion.
Yeah, I think these kind of 2-base timings might be the way that Orbital Candy Laser need to play these. I'm obviously not practiced against, you know, 8K plus players, but, you know, from an RTS perspective, it seems like something that may need to be done, because expanding onto the map has ended in them getting ripped apart at least once already, and you see there's no indication that Theory and Albino are not looking to do that again.
They are clearly looking to do that again, as we have 3 mortars and 3 shockers coming out now, looking to put some pressure on the third base of Orbital Candy Laser. There's an engagement coming in from Sweet Shot, trying to find some of these blinks out, but is going to get blunk upon, as these recalls are going to have to do their namesake and get on out of here. Theory getting a little bit caught off guard, but actually just looking to trade with the blinks to use that mobility advantage to find damage, as the shockers are going to start ravaging the Scorpions.
Yeah, this is big here going into this north side of the third. Meanwhile, though, mortars are going to start shelling the workers at the natural here. Constantly, again, playing this two individual player style, where you just try and win 2 1v1s on each side of the map, and it's so far Orbital Candy Laser has had no response to this.
Theory did lose all of his shockers originally, but they don't much seem to care. They were just kind of a pressure tool so that they can also go into Starforge and get butterflies to counter what their opponents currently have. With the double ground, actually 3 ground units coming up from the Sweet Shot, only has access to the Recall Hunters for anti-air, so Cosmic is going to need to do a lot of covering with the Valkyries that they have the ability to get out, but I don't think they've even produced any yet.
No, but Valkyries are very good units overall for air-to-air. They are the best dedicated air-to-air unit in the game. That being said, I think there's only
these 5 butterflies are going to ruin a base before the Valkyries can even show up if they can get into position. As we see, once again, actually, bases 4 coming in for both of the Spring team.
There are a few advanced recalls out here. They don't shoot air, but they are... look at that, big blink pounce onto the snipers, taking out all 4 or 5 of them. Then the butterflies are going to fly over and do a lot of damage. There is one Valkyrie, again, 2-shotting the butterflies, and that's actually pushing Theory and Albino back. Bandwidth looking good for 3 players, but Sweet Shot Games looking a little low because of that depleted natural base, or destroyed natural base, rather.
Yeah, a lot of good work coming out from them. It looks like they're probably just going to try to plan out another big push onto the 3rd here, knowing that if they try to play the longer macro game, it's going to be significantly in their opponent's advantage. Using those behemoths to tank damage and the Recall Hunters to try and block for any more butterflies that come in, but the mortars are going to start doing huge damage to the front line.
Yeah, the big damage is here, but it's not quite enough now. It looks like Cosmic and Sweet Shot Games are breaking through in some capacity, but the counterattack is strong here. It's going to reduce the reinforcement capabilities, but you don't need to reinforce if you just win the game. It's not guaranteed.
Butterflies are going to take out the natural expansion as well, and the 3rd base for Cosmic and Sweet Shot goes down, but can Theory and Albino deal with the units on their front door? That's the big question right now.
Yeah, there are 10 butterflies out, meeting up with 5 more. 15 butterflies are going to pose a huge problem for just 2 Valkyries. Even though the Valkyries are uncontested in the air, those advanced destroyers will get knocked out before anything good happens. For them, a couple Recall Hunters, or whatever the anti-air Recall Hunters, yes, are coming in, but I don't think it's going to be enough against this many butterflies.
And the blinks aren't available to actually take out the Recall Hunters, so they aren't able to find damage into the butterflies. But we have more Valkyries that are out now, doing what they can to take out the butterflies. They're just not quite quick enough to actually get in there and do that, and the Heavy Hunters mixing in some damage as well. Snipers are going to get caught out, but not going to get caught. Good job on the Scorpions for actually body blocking there, but the Snipers now are going to get blocked upon and destroyed.
Yeah, but the fights were going very evenly, but it started to become a point where the base snipes earlier were too much for Orbital Candy Laser, and that will lead to game number 2 going in favor of afterMath. But that was by far, I think, the best game we've seen so far.
I agree. That was the closest of the 5 games yet. I'm so here for it. Cosmic and Sweet Shot Games have been playing 2v2 for about an hour and 47 minutes. And they're making a heck of a show for it against the number 1 rated team from the last beta, number 2 rated team in our bracket, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I really want to see them try and refine a little bit, see if they can't do just a little bit of mid-series refining, and see if they can't make some kind of push happen to take advantage of this game, and the way their opponents have been playing.
I mentioned before, Sweet Shot Games and Cosmic 0508, both currently streaming their POVs at twitch.tv/their username. And both of them have their decks open, and it seems like they're in the tank right now.
Okay, so we will give them a little bit of time to work on it. Don't worry about the invites. And 508, I believe you said?
Yeah. 0508.
Boom. I have to wait time before giving another shout out in my channel? What? Twitch. Oh, they are truly something sometimes. Well, Invite again. Got it. No problem, Cosmic. Feel free to take all the time you need in between games as well. Well, not all the time. We do have to, like, get moving eventually, but...
I mean, who really lives on the East Coast, honestly?
Yeah, I mean, not some of our participants. All right, teams are in, given about 5 seconds to finish their prep. And then we'll get started. Game number 3 here in our best 5. Best 5s through the entire bracket. Yes.
All right, we do have some changes coming out here, it looks like. I don't recall this exact deck coming out from Cosmic in particular.
We are stronger together.
Oh, and we got Wasps now from Sweet Shot, so looking to capitalize a little bit more with mobility, as we do see an early expansion coming out from both teams.
The Wasps are a good response to all of the blink play, because they can go in and kind of surround and allow the other team to be, you know, the pressure that makes it work. You can already see Theory and Albino getting less active on the map, at least to start.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot more difficult time trying to find these incremental value blink away plays, because the Wasps are so quick they can get on top and just absolutely punish that blink play if they're even a little bit careless. No tech options initially coming out from Theory Albino. Cosmic and Sweet Shot are both taking a tech upgrade, one to the Starforge and one into the Foundry. Albino and Theory now are each also going to do their own, just a little bit later.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a defensive play, a reactive play, about 7.5 seconds afterwards. Nothing enough to, you know, take advantage of, but just to be able to see the play. And you can see them pushing together, so they clearly are not a one-trick in their strategy. They are prepared to do other things. And look at that. Third base drops in, and they are immediately pouncing upon it. Here come the Wasps for the surround. Orbital Candy Laser is going to drop a bonus base, and this one comes with a Guardian Shield in it. And now here comes a big push. Wasps are getting a nice surround, and they continue further to try and get the blink location. They're going to proceed forward, and then as they approach the Guardian Shield, go ahead and get away. But this is stymieing the pressure in a big way.
I like the option coming out with the Dragonflies. There's been a big focus on things that can't shoot up from Theory and Albino in most of the previous games. The Dragonflies are just going to punish their move outs a little bit until they can get some of these heavy hunters in for more dedicated anti-air.
Yep, they will gain the incremental value until some of these anti-air units show up, like the Recall Hunter and the Heavy Hunter. Anything with Hunter shoots up. That's the good way to remember. Blinks are microing backwards in nice small groups against all of these melee units. Scorpion's tanky, but aren't getting a ton of damage in, and the reinforcements from the constant stream of reinforcements for Aftermath is really working in their favor. Hornets are out to deal with the butterflies, and they do nab a couple off the top.
Yeah, there's not too many of the destroyers coming out from Sweet Shot. Looks like he's primarily just going to go straight into Tier 3 Foundry so they can get into that Behemoth Sniper combination again as Sweet Shot's base falls, but Cosmics is still standing strong. However, we still have the early expand coming out from Albino in the top, already gathering resources.
Yep, that fourth is started up for Albino, constantly finding, and this is already mining. They're just constantly keeping so much pressure up with these matter-only units that they are just creating huge problems for their opponent and creating so much space to be able to expand and not lose to a tech switch.
There are currently no big units out for the side of Aftermath, so these snipers are just going to pretty much ruin everything that fights them on the ground, unless they get blunk upon once again by Albino, taking out every single sniper. That's a huge investment, just going absolutely out the window here as these butterflies are going to continue to mop up the ground-focused combination that Cosmic has found himself in, and Sweet Shot not there with Hornets to provide that anti-air that they so desperately need, and I think that might be the death knell for the Orbital and Laser.
Yeah, it's not looking ideal. The snipers are doing massive damage to the artillery and the advanced destroyers, so it's not over yet, but these butterflies are going to sneak into the natural area. micro well to go ahead and stay in optimal health formation for the Guardian Shield. For those who don't know, the Guardian Shield hits the unit closest to the base that has a Guardian Shield. So you micro health units forward into it, which is really cool piece of micro.
Yeah, we got this base that's going to go down once again to the Advanced Destroyers, do an unbelievable amount of damage to things that are large, which includes buildings. Blinks are going to destroy most of the anti-air for Sweet Shot games, and if the butterflies are able to come back in, they could do a lot of damage. I don't see where they went at the moment. They might have gotten taken out on the harassment.
Yeah, I think they did get taken out, or at least that's what I'm going to assume here. But look at this artillery push, a dozen artillery pushing across the map. Only an individual artillery remaining, and all these matter units are going to push in, snipe them all down, and I think afterMath is moving onwards.
Yeah, the moral of the story, I think, from this match is just Blinks are really good if you are really good.
You know, that is a great way of putting it, because that is entirely correct. afterMath takes their series 3-0. But really, shout out Orbital Candy Laser, again, for being our, hey, you want to be here, team? Excellent work from them. I really appreciate it.
Genuinely the best hour and 45 minutes of 2v2 I've ever seen. Yeah. And I know that sounds sarcastic, but I'm being very genuine. Like, they did phenomenally for the amount of time that they had to prep for this.
No, absolutely. Against just incredibly strong teams in afterMath. We will have to see. I believe I need to fix this bracket display, actually. If I go here... Yeah, twos need to be at the bottom. Let me... I will fix that in the downtime. afterMath and Orbital Candy Laser should be at the bottom. I don't want a 1-2 seed coming up match. So we will fix that for the next round. Whoopsie daisy. The one on challenge would be correct. For reference, challenge is the correct bracket. At the start tournament, I'm going to go ahead and update that. We'll go ahead and get our third series underway in just a minute. So stick around. Match 3 will be around in just a minute.